The hospital stood alone, miles from the town. It was a beacon against the vast, star-studded canvas of the night. Once, this place pulsed with life, a haven for the sick and injured. Now, it was a skeletal monument to forgotten suffering. I was its sole guardian, a night watchman in this desolate, echoing space. My name is Jack, and I'd taken this job for its quiet solitude. Little did I know, solitude was a luxury I couldn't afford here. The old wing, Ward 9, was especially unsettling. It was shut down years ago, deemed unsafe. Yet, every time I patrolled its darkened corridors, a chill snaked down my spine. The air was thick with the weight of untold stories, whispers of pain and fear clinging to the peeling paint. Even the silence was oppressive. Each creak of the floorboards, each sigh of the wind through the broken windows sounded like a phantom cry for help. I was a prisoner of the very silence I craved. The hospital, in its death throes, had become a breeding ground for something sinister, something hungry for company. My only companions were the security cameras, their cold, unblinking eyes watching over the emptiness. Camera 16 monitored the entrance to Ward 9. It was a relic, prone to glitches, but tonight the static felt different, heavier. It was as if something was trying to break through to claw its way into our world. I felt a prickle of unease. I dismissed it as fatigue. I was alone, as always. Yet, as I continued my rounds, the hair on the back of my neck stood on end. The air grew colder, more oppressive. A shadow flickered across the screen. A fleeting image lost in a burst of static. It was gone before I could be sure I'd seen anything at all. But I had. Something was in Ward 9. It was watching me. The silence was no longer empty. It was filled with the unspoken, a silent pressure wheeling me toward the sealed doors of Ward 9. I tried to rationalize it. A draft, some faulty wiring, maybe just my overactive imagination. But deep down, I knew better. Fear, cold, and sharp as a surgeon's scalpel sliced through me. The static from camera 16 intensified, the flickering shadow more pronounced. It was human-shaped, but wrong somehow, elongated, with limbs that seemed to bend at unnatural angles. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat in the silence. I couldn't ignore it anymore. This was beyond a security breach. It was a trespass into the forbidden. It was calling me. Ward 9, a place of whispers and shadows, awaited. The air in the morgue was frigid, a stark contrast to the stifling heat that had permeated Ward 9. The metallic tang of formaldehyde bit at my nostrils, a grim reminder of the countless souls that had passed through these steel doors. I was drawn here, compelled by an unseen force. The security cameras in here were offline, long since deactivated. It was just me and the dead. A shiver racked my body, and it wasn't just from the cold. I ran my hand along the chilled steel of an autopsy table, feeling a faint, residual stickiness. Goosebumps erupted on my arms as I swore I could hear, in the suffocating silence, the faint echo of a scalpel scraping bone. Then I saw it. On the floor, a single handprint, small and pale, pressed against the cold tile as if burned there. It wasn't dust, couldn't be. The air in here was too still, too sterile for dust to settle. This was something else, something impossible. The whisper started subtly, like the rustling of leaves just beyond the realm of hearing. I stopped, holding my breath, straining to identify the source. They grew louder, coalescing into distinct voices, murmuring, chanting in a language I couldn't understand. They seemed to emanate from the body bags lining the walls, their cold vinyl surfaces reflecting the dim overhead light. Panic welled in my chest, constricting my throat. My hand instinctively reached for the flashlight on my belt. The cold metal, a small comfort in the growing darkness. Then the blackout. The single bulb illuminating the morgue sputtered and died, plunging me into absolute darkness. The whispers intensified, swirling around me, a chorus of the damned. I was enveloped by them, their icy breath on my skin, their ghostly fingers brushing against mine. Something was moving in the darkness. To be continued. I was on a solo road trip, just me, my playlist, and a craving to disappear for a few days. Somewhere around 2 a.m., I stopped for gas on a long, empty stretch of highway in Missouri. Middle of nowhere, the kind of place that feels forgotten even during the day. There was one guy at the register, half asleep behind the counter. He barely looked up as I paid for fuel. I grabbed a soda and asked, "Restroom?" He pointed lazily to the side of the building, a door that looked more like a shed than a bathroom. I pushed it open. Dim light, stale air. 3 stalls, 1 urinal, graffiti all over the cracked tile walls. It smelled like mold, bleach, and something older, like wet earth. I took the middle stall. I know, dumb move. Everyone knows you never choose the middle one. But I wasn't thinking. I was tired. I closed the door, sat, and immediately felt the air shift. Heavy, still. Then I heard it. Someone breathing. Not loud, not struggling, just steady. Coming from stall number 3. The one on the end. I didn't hear anyone come in. I waited, frozen, holding my breath. The breathing didn't stop. Then I heard a faint tap, 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 like someone lightly scratching the inside of the metal stall divider. I cleared my throat, trying to act normal. Someone in there? No reply, just breathing. Then, I swear on everything, it stopped. Dead silence. I finished as fast as I could, flossed, and stepped out. I looked under the stall. No feet. I hesitated, bent down to look again. Empty. But the breathing, it started again from inside the stall. I stepped back. That's when the door to stall 3 slowly creaked open on its own. Nothing inside, but on the mirror above the sink behind me, I saw it. Not a reflection of the stall, but a person standing inside. A woman. Long black hair, face pale and wet, like she'd just climbed out of a lake. Her eyes were wide. Her mouth hung open, not breathing, screaming silently. I turned around, nothing there. Then the lights went out, pitch black. I ran, slammed into the door, burst out into the night air, gasping like I'd been drowning. The guy at the register looked up as I stumbled back in. "You all right?" he asked. I nodded, trying to play it cool. Someone else in the restroom? He paused. No, you were the only one in there. That restroom's been shut off a few times before. Weird things. Customers complain, cold air, voices. I asked, anyone ever die here? He shrugged. A woman went missing from this stop back in the 90s. Car was left at the pump. No sign of her. They never found her. Last footage shows her heading toward the restroom. I left fast. That was 5 years ago. But here's the thing. Every now and then, when I stop at any old gas station on a long night drive, I check the mirrors in the restroom. Sometimes I see her, not in the stall, behind me, waiting. Have you ever taken a shortcut that you later regretted? Well, let me tell you about Grey Peak Road. I was driving to visit my cousin in Virginia. The main highway was blocked, so my GPS rerouted me through the back roads. It was supposed to be a shortcut. Boy, was I wrong. The moment I turned onto Grey Peak Road, everything felt off. No street sign, just a rusted post. The pavement turned to gravel, then to dirt. The trees leaned in like they were listening. I didn't see a single house or car for miles. Then, as the sun dipped behind the ridge, everything turned gray. And that's when I saw her. She was standing by the side of the road, long black hair, white dress, barefoot, pale as paper, completely still. I thought it was a deer, but no, it was a woman. She just stared. I slowed down, but something told me not to stop. As I passed her, I glanced in my rearview mirror. She was gone, just gone. No way she could have disappeared that fast. I told myself I was just tired. Then my headlights flickered and the engine died. No warning, just dead. Everything went black. I tried the ignition. Nothing. Then I heard it. A soft knock on the passenger window. I didn't want to look, but I had to. She was right there, inches from the glass. Her face, wrong, too smooth. Her eyes sunken, mouth slightly open, showing gray teeth, not smiling, not moving. I locked the doors, heart pounding. She stared. I stared back. Then she vanished. Just blinked out like a light. I panicked, grabbed my flashlight and ran into the woods. Branches cut at me, but I didn't stop. I slid down a slope, landed in a ditch. That's when I saw the sign, half buried, old. It said, "No return beyond this point." And below, almost too faint to read, "She walks with the forgotten." Then I heard her, crawling, scraping fingers on dirt and rock. I scrambled back up, didn't look back. When I reached the road, my car was on, headlights blazing, engine purring. I jumped in and drove. Didn't stop until I hit the main road. When I told my cousin, he went pale, said, "You took Grey Peak? Apparently it's not on any maps. A woman froze to death there 100 years ago. They say she still walks, looking for help. If you stop, she climbs in. If you run, she doesn't like that." I checked my GPS history later. No log of that road. Just a straight highway. I know what I saw. And sometimes, when I drive alone at night, I still feel her near. In the mirror, long hair, white dress. Just for a second. Still walking, still watching, waiting.